All right, let's dig deeper into the high-stakes recall election. We are joined right now live by Keith Schipper. He's the RNC Western Regional Communications Director.
And we are also joined by Democratic strategist Steve Maviglio. Thank you both so much for taking the time to join us today. So we are one day out from Election Day. Give us your take on voter turnout so far with mail-in ballots. And Keith, we'll start with you.
Well, we are, like you said, we're 24 hours away. Republicans are excited to turn out, obviously partaking in-person voting more so than mail voting. And over the next 24 hours, going to be working day and night to ensure that every Republican voter casts a ballot and that we recall Gavin Newsom tomorrow night, or it could be a couple days till we know for sure. But at the end of the day, we're replacing him with new leadership in Sacramento.
And with early voting, Steve, what's your take on what that'll mean for the outcome?
Well, unfortunately, what he just said hasn't panned out. The so-called Republican enthusiasm just hasn't been there in the mail voting. Even the in-person voting in Orange County, a Republican stronghold, is nothing compared to what it was in the general election. Meanwhile, Democrats are turning in large numbers. There was supposed to be an enthusiasm gap, hasn't showed up. Democrats are mailing in their ballots at almost record pace for a special election, and I think we'll see a double-digit win tomorrow.
Well, President Biden is in California now, touring the fire damage, also showing last-minute support for Governor Newsom. Steve, how much strategy went into this timing, and how do you think it'll impact the vote?
Well, I think it's an exclamation point on a very successful campaign. I think the Newsom campaign nationalized the election to talk about all the things that Republicans are doing in Washington, their anti-vax stance, their erosion of women's reproductive rights, their damage to the economy under the Trump administration, their denying of climate. Those are things that just don't resonate with Californians. And I think that's why the not ready for primetime players on the Republican side of the ballot, so to speak, haven't gained any traction.
Keith, what are your thoughts on the power of the president's visit here today?
Well, I think the symbolism of having the president out while, Americans are still stranded in Afghanistan, there's a crisis at our border, COVID is raging all over once again, shouldn't be lost on Californians. Democrats have shown that they are going to put political power over doing their job. And I think that you can really look at that being the reason why this recall is even taking place to begin with. We're out there and we're talking about everything at stake. And we are even talking about, Joe Biden and the leadership, the failure of leadership that we've seen in this first year in office, and showing that it's time for new leadership, Republican leadership, and that Republicans have the best kind of agenda for a path to success for California. And we're just going to be hammering that for the next 24 hours.
And Keith, we know actress Rose McGowan, a leader in the Me Too movement, is grabbing headlines today, now voicing her support for the leading Republican candidate Larry Elder and recalling Newsom. What's your take on that announcement?
I think it's Larry Elder has certainly had a lot of momentum. He's run a strong campaign, as has the other Republican candidates. At the RNC, we're not backing any candidate. Obviously, the California Republican Party has also not backed any one candidate. It's all about, at the end of the day, it's about getting that question one passed. And that's what we're focused on. And, these candidates are running their own races, and we are going to do everything in our power to ensure that one of them is sworn in as the next governor here following the election.
And, Steve, what do you think about Rose McGowan stumping with Larry Elder? Do you think it'll hurt the governor with women voters?
It's never surprising to see what kind of gutterball politics surfaced at the last couple of days of the campaign. In addition to that, Larry Elder is screaming about voter fraud, the same Trump lies that played out across America. They're trying to bring home in California with absolutely no evidence, including one of the Republican candidates, Mayor Faulconer, saying there's absolutely no evidence of that. So, it's just last-minute shenanigans. I think the Newsom campaign framed this perfectly as a Republican recall framed by ultra-right-wing conservatives, and that's how it's panned out.
Keith Schipper and Steve Maviglio, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.